Yeah.
Well, now do you wear a wedding ring?
No, I don't wear a wedding ring.
Oh, okay.
My husband doesn't believe in wedding rings, and
Okay, that's interesting. What did you like in a man? What were the qualities you sought before you met your husband? And how have you changed today? Today, you rely on which qualities that he has, or that you really like, or really seek, or want. So, am I making any sense? What were you looking
sure,
for?
it does
Okay,
make
great.
sense. At the time, I was really looking for somebody that would understand my artistic way of approaching design, fashion, my way of expressing myself. I'm not only a designer, I'm also like an artist, and I try to combine fashion, artist, my artistic way of like painting, sculpting, and doing photography as well. So I was looking for somebody who really understood my way of thinking, my way of designing, my ideas, what I want to proceed in life, in my profession, not just being a woman and a housewife and having children, which I eventually would like to have. I found it in the person I met in Paris, I think, to a degree that he's an architect, he's a designer, and on that level we were very much, I would say, accomplishing each other in a way, as well as helping each other in our professions. I help him design sometimes, he helps me design my clothing. So that's something I was always looking in a man. I usually, the man I really enjoyed when I was younger was my professors in college, who the ones who understood my way of sculpting and designing, and I was always looking for somebody in that direction, I think. And of course the men happen to be older. I think that the ones who really understand, the way I am and the way I design and the way I'd like to, go through life. What has changed in the last 5 years that I really, not only do I want to be successful in my profession, I really would like to have a family as well. And which, when you have an older husband, it's very hard because he's had it before, he doesn't really want it again. He is sort of tired of having even to take care of a child again, and so I think that's a problem that I would now consider, and I'm more now against having somebody that's a lot older, and a lot is like 30 years older than I am. So I think now I see in a relationship more of a more the problems you have when you're with somebody that's 30 years older. And I mean, you can have a lot of problems with somebody your age, which I had in Germany. But I think, every 5 years you sort of look back in your life and you know a lot more. Of course, you made a lot more experiences, and you'd like to change, and you try to get what you really would like in life, to make life happy and successful.
Your husband is 30 years older?
Yeah, right.
You don't have to answer this, but I'm just. Does a man who's 30 years older have the energy to fulfill you?
Yeah, I think it's something that's getting more and more difficult. I mean, 5 years ago have been different from now, and I guess 5 years from now will be even more difficult. So I guess that's a problem. I'd like to talk to other women who are married to men that much older, but it's very hard to get to know all those things. It probably would be another video for you to do.
How did you get attracted to a man 30 years older, and what's it been like?
First I met him in Paris. I mean, literally in the streets, and I was listening to some Caribbean music, which I really like, and he must have seen me because I remember shoes walking towards me, American shoes. So, and I know somebody was really watching me. Now, as I told you, in Paris, it's not so unusual. I wouldn't look up. I would keep reading my magazines. I wasn't really into meeting somebody that day, and it took really a while for him to get to talk to me. Like, he tried over like within 20 minutes, maybe 3 times, and finally invited me to a restaurant. And you know, I thought, wow, he's a very interesting person. And on the way, I'm from the restaurant. We walked to a concert, and he showed me a house, and that was his idea. And it was a very, very unusual house. It was just on like a post, and the whole house was put onto that post. And he said that was his idea, and that's just like his house is. And I thought, wow, that's wonderful. It's somebody who really experiments in life and does very unusual things. And also, he didn't seem to be a materialistic person in the sense like he liked fancy cars, or you know, all that stuff didn't mean anything to him. So it was something that was very fascinating to me because men my age, of course, wanted to have a, you know, a Ferrari or whatever special type car, and you know, a great house, and all those things don't really mean anything to me unless, you know, no, I mean, generally I wouldn't, they don't mean anything to me. It has to be a certain personality. So we went to a concert, and I was just generally fascinated by his personality. And so it was his last evening in Paris, and he invited me to Los Angeles, which to me at that time was so far away, and it doesn't have a good reputation in Germany, for one thing. So I said sure, and I think he asked me another time, and I said yes, and he knew I didn't really mean it when I said yes, and so I forgot about it. But when I got home, and I really started missing him, and it was the first time that I met somebody and really missed him after just one evening together. And from that time on, I never forgot about him. I told a lot of people about him, and everybody said you should really go and visit him, which I did half a year later. And it was to see him again was just as fascinating as it was that very first evening together.
How long afterwards did you guys marry?
About
You came to Los Angeles.
3 years later. He wasn't really into marriage anymore. He was like, he doesn't believe in marriage anymore, put it that way. So we started living together from that very first day I came to the country, and I never went back to Europe, just, you know, to straighten out things I've left there and so on.
How do you guys view monogamy?
He's very open about it, and he's very easygoing. He gives me as much freedom as I like and want to. And I think he had that. I know he had that attitude before I met him, sort of.
Does that work?
You know, it's hard to say what does work and what doesn't work. It's an unusual relationship that you can't really. I think it's not the usual marriage type thing, so it's hard to say.
How would you compare your life married to your life single? What's good and bad in each?
I think I generally don't like living alone. I'd like to have somebody to ask questions, you know, no matter what they are in my professional, you know, life as well as in my private life. And I like to have somebody next to me, or who is around me. And if I have problems, I'm working usually by myself at home in my studio. And I have somebody who has the same affinity to my work as I do. So he's often helping me helping to solve designing problems, which of course I do with him in the same way. That's something I would miss very much being single. Of course there are like daily problems you have being married. They sometimes really get too much, I think. You know, it's like he does things in a way I don't like him to do it that way. I'd like to have them done my way. So that's usually something that gets into, probably in every marriage, it gets into your life. So my married life is very much